Listen carefully, because this truth has no mercy for excuses. Every minute you spend thinking about what's wrong is a minute stolen from what could go right. Problems are not the enemy, your focus is. When your mind stares at the wall, it forgets the door was always there. Stop feeding your fears with attention. Start feeding your destiny with direction. Every thought you give to a problem gives it more power. Every thought you give to a solution gives you more power. You choose which one grows. The weak talk about what went wrong. The strong ask, "What can I do next?" That single question separates leaders from followers, builders from complainers, achievers from dreamers. Remember this: energy flows where focus goes. When you direct your mental energy toward creation, not can't be done. Use that second to prove it can. Solutions live in movement, not in misery. Action kills doubt, and progress silences fear. The world doesn't reward those who describe problems. It rewards those who solve them. Discipline your mind. Guard your attention like it's gold, because it is. When challenges come, and they will, stand firm. Say to yourself, "I will find a way." Because the truth is, there is always a way. The only question is whether you're focused enough to see it. So from this moment on, stop feeding the problem. Feed your purpose. Focus on the solution. Move. Build. Win. Your mind is a magnet. It pulls toward you the very things you hold in thought, whether they serve you or destroy you. Whatever dominates your mental screen becomes your reality, not by chance, but by law. When you think about problems, you don't just recognize them, you multiply them. You make them stronger. You breathe life into your own limitations. But when you think about solutions, you see possibility. Instead of pain, your entire world begins to rearrange itself in your favor. You become the architect of your destiny the moment you choose what your mind will cling to. Most people spend their lives replaying everything that went wrong, the mistakes, the losses, the fears, the setbacks. They nurture their failures until those failures grow roots and choke out every new idea. They talk about what they can't do, what others won't allow, and why life is unfair. Yet, every minute spent complaining is a minute that could have been used creating. Every ounce of energy spent feeding the problem is energy stolen from the solution. You have to understand this truth deeply. The mind does not care whether it builds or destroys. It simply obeys your focus. If you keep your attention on pain, it will find you more of it. If you fix your eyes on possibility, it will carve out the path, brick by brick, until what once looked impossible becomes inevitable. The mind is not loyal to your dreams or your doubts. It is loyal only to what you feed it. Winners know this secret. They don't dwell on the obstacle. They immediately ask, "What's the next move?" They train their thoughts to see opportunity hidden inside difficulty. Every time life hits them, they respond with creative energy, not emotional reaction. They understand that problems are not punishments, they are signals, guiding lights that point toward growth, strength, and mastery. The average person sees a wall and stops. The focused mind sees that same wall and starts searching for a door. And if there is no door, it builds one. That is the difference. That is the power of focus. When your mind is trained on what you can do instead of what you can't, the world opens up in ways you never imagined. The truth is, you cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can control how you think about it. And that single choice determines your future. The problem is never the real problem. Your focus is. Two people can face the same storm, yet one drowns while the other learns to sail. The storm didn't decide the outcome. Mindset did. When you begin to focus on solutions, your energy changes. You speak differently. You move differently. You start to attract the right people, the right ideas, the right circumstances. Suddenly, you notice options that were invisible before. You become a magnet for progress. And as that momentum builds, life begins to respond to your strength instead of your weakness. It's not magic, it's focus. It's not luck, it's discipline. You train your mind the same way a warrior trains the body, through repetition, clarity, and control. Every time you catch yourself thinking about what's wrong, shift it immediately to what can be done. Don't let your mind wander into self-pity or doubt. Direct it. Command it. Tell it what to build, what to chase, what to believe. When you focus on problems, you become part of the noise. When you focus on solutions, you become P, art of the change. The people who move mountains are not the ones who complain about them. They are the ones who find a way to climb them, cut through them, or build something greater on top of them. Every revolution, every invention, every breakthrough came from someone who refused to accept the problem as permanent. If your mind is filled with excuses, fear, or negativity, you'll never see the path to power. But when you focus on the solution, your spirit ignites. You feel alive. You stop waiting for miracles and start becoming one. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. The mind is a tool, not a cage. It was built to serve your vision, not sabotage it. So discipline your focus. Guard your thoughts like treasure. Don't let anyone, not even yourself, poison your mind with the language of defeat. Speak possibility. Think victory. A seed of advancement, of wisdom, of transformation. But that seed only grows in the soil of a solution-focused mind. You have within you the same mental machinery as every great achiever who ever lived. The only difference between those who rise and those who sink is what they choose to focus on. Some see problems and freeze. Others see problems and build. You must decide which one you will be. Focus is not about ignoring reality. It's about mastering it. It's about recognizing that your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your world. If you can control your focus, you can control your results. The moment you shift your attention from what's holding you back to what will move you forward, everything begins to change. Remember this, your mind is a magnet. It will always attract the strongest thought you allow to live inside it. So feed it strength, feed it clarity, feed it purpose. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start creating the perfect mindset. Problems will come. They're proof that you're alive and moving, but the person who stays focused on solutions doesn't just survive the storm, they build the next horizon. That's the difference between living in reaction and living in power. The mind that focuses on problems builds prisons. The mind that focuses on solutions builds empires. Choose which one you want to live in, and start building it now. Energy follows focus. Wherever your attention goes, your life flows. The direction of your thoughts determines the direction of your destiny. Most people waste their strength scattered across distractions, doubts, and drama. They wonder why they feel drained, uninspired, or stuck. It's because their energy is leaking into everything that doesn't matter. Focus is power. Focus is fuel. And when you control it, you control everything. The human mind is a generator of energy. Every thought is a current, every belief a charge. When that current runs wild, it burns out before it can create anything meany. But when it's channeled, when all that inner electricity is pointed toward a clear target, it becomes unstoppable. That's when ordinary people do extraordinary things. The most successful, disciplined, and driven individuals in history all understood this truth. Energy does not respond to wishes, it responds to focus. You can talk all day about your dreams, but until your focus locks in, nothing happens. The universe, life, opportunity, they all respond to clarity, not confusion. Energy is drawn to certainty. When you decide what you want and give it undivided attention, every unseen force begins aligning to help you. But if your mind jumps from goal to goal, from fear to fear, you break that magnetic pull. You dilute your strength. You weaken your own momentum. The reason most people fail isn't lack of talent, it's lack of focus. They want 10 different things at once. They start strong, but scatter their energy in 100 directions. They say yes to distractions, chase every imp, and wonder why progress feels slow. Energy doesn't multiply in chaos, it multiplies in concentration. The laser cuts through steel not because it has more light, but because its light is focused. The same principle applies to you. When your attention is fixed on a single purpose, your energy obeys it. You stop wasting emotion on worry, time on trivial things, and effort on what doesn't serve your mission. You become sharper, more intense, more alive. The world bends to the will of a focused mind. It's not magic. It's physics. The law is simple. Energy follows focus. Whatever you give consistent attention to grows. So if you constantly think about your problems, you're feeding them. You're transferring your energy into what drains you. But if you direct your focus toward the solution, toward growth, toward what you can do instead of what's wrong, your energy transforms. You feel stronger, calmer, more in control. Problems shrink. Possibilities expand. Because the moment your focus changes, your energy changes. And so does your life. Look around you. Everything powerful in this world operates with focus. The sun warms the earth, but when that same sunlight is concentrated through a lens, it can start a fire. Your focus is that lens. It can burn through barriers or drift harmlessly across the surface of your potential. Every distraction, every negative thought, every wasted moment blurs that lens and weakens your fire. You have to guard your focus like it's your most precious asset, because it is. Don't hand it to gossip, complaints, or fears that add no value to your purpose. Don't waste it on comparing yourself to others. Every time you do, you're surrendering your energy to something that gives nothing back. You have a limited amount of focus each day. Spend it wisely. Pour it into what moves you forward, not what pulls you down. People say they lack motivation, but that's not the problem. Motivation comes naturally when focus is clear. You're not tired, you're distracted. You're not unmotivated, you're unfocused. When you truly lock your attention on a goal, energy floods in. Your body responds. Your emotions rise to meet your intention. Clarity is the spark that ignites momentum. The clearer you get about your target, the faster your energy aligns behind it. You can't half focus on success and half focus on excuses. You can't give 50% to progress and 50% to comfort. The mind cannot serve two masters. It will follow whichever one dominates your attention. So if your focus is on doubt, your energy will follow doubt. If your focus is on action, your energy will follow action. The choice is always yours. Every second of your life, you're directing energy somewhere. The question is, where? Into building your vision or feeding your distractions, into discipline or delay, into confidence or fear? Your results will reveal the answer. You can't hide from what your focus creates. It shows up in your habits, your relationships, your health, your success. When you train your focus, you train your power. That means saying no to noise. It means silencing the mental clutter that keeps you spinning in circles. It means staying locked on your path when others lose sight of theirs. Focus is not about intensity for a moment. It's about consistency over time. A sharp mind once in a while achieves flashes of success. A disciplined mind achieves domination. Don't underestimate what a focused life can do. When your energy and attention unite under a single purpose, you enter a state where obstacles shrink, time slows, and everything feels aligned. That's not luck, that's mastery. That's what happens when your energy stops scattering and starts obeying your vision. So wherever you are, stop dividing your attention. Stop letting every minor distraction steal your strength. Take control of your focus and your energy will follow like a loyal servant. Fix your thoughts on where you want to go, not where you've been. Focus on growth, on progress, on the knee. XT right action. Energy follows focus. If you want to rise higher, aim your attention higher. If you want power, concentrate it. If you want peace, focus on gratitude. The world responds not to your wishes, but to your focus. Direct it, discipline it, protect it, because the moment you control your focus, you control your energy, and when you control your energy, nothing can control you. Complaining builds walls. Every time you open your mouth to blame, to whine, or to explain why something can't be done, you lay another brick between yourself and the life you want. It might feel harmless, a small vent, a justified frustration, but every complaint is construction. You're building barriers around your potential, trapping yourself in the same cycle of limitation day after day. The truth is, no one ever complained their way to greatness. No one ever reached their dream by describing how hard it was. Progress doesn't come from pointing at the problem. It comes from powering through it. The bit of complaining is a silent thief. It steals your energy, your discipline, your focus. Every second you spend talking about what's wrong could have been spent working on what's next. Complaining doesn't solve, it multiplies. The more you do it, the more reasons your mind finds to justify it. It becomes a pattern, a comfort zone disguised as release. You start to believe that talking about pain is the same as dealing with it. But it's not. It's procrastination dressed in emotion. When you complain, you give your power away. You hand your strength to the problem instead of holding it for the solution. You train your brain to look for negativity, to expect disappointment, to focus on what's broken, and soon that becomes all you see. You can't build an empire with a mind full of excuses. You can't climb while you're holding on to resentment. Every complaint adds weight to your spirit, and the heavier you get, the harder it becomes to move forward. The strongest people are not those who never struggle. They're the ones who never let struggle make them bitter. They feel pain, but they don't worship it. They face obstacles, but they don't talk about them endlessly. They act, they build, they rise. When something goes wrong, they ask, "What can I do?" instead of "why me?" That small shift changes everything, because the moment you stop complaining, you start creating. Complaining is easy. Anyone can do it. That's why most people stay average, because average loves comfort, and complaining is the language of comfort. It gives the illusion of doing something without the cost of change. But comfort doesn't build champions. Growth begins where complaining ends. The moment you replace whining with working, your entire world transforms. Every time you catch yourself complaining, remember this: that same energy could build something. You could be learning, improving, creating, moving. You could be sharpening your skills or strengthening your mindset. Instead, you're handing your attention to what you don't want. Energy follows attention, and attention spent on negativity breeds more of it. You get what you focus on. When you feed the problem, it grows. When you starve it, it dies. People who complain constantly attract others who do the same. Misery loves company, but company doesn't love misery. The conversations that start as harmless venting become cycles of mutual weakness. Each word reinforces defeat. Each story justifies failure. Soon, complaining becomes culture. The people around you normalize it, and before you know it, you're part of a crowd that celebrates limitation instead of liberation. If you want to rise, you must walk away from that noise. You cannot reach your highest level while surrounded by people who worship problems. Every word that leaves your mouth carries vibration. Complaints lower it, gratitude raises it. When you speak about what's wrong, you're broadcasting helplessness. When you speak about what's possible, you're broadcasting Poe. The mind listens to your words. If you keep saying life is unfair, it will show you proof that it is. If you say, "and I'll find a way," it will start searching for one. That's how focus works. It obeys the direction of your speech. It takes strength to stay silent when you want to complain. It takes power to smile when you're under pressure. But that control is what separates achievers from victims. Victims describe their pain. Achievers convert it into fuel. Every setback becomes a source of energy, every frustration a lesson. They don't let emotion rule the moment. They use reason to rule the result. Life will never stop testing you. Problems are not going away, but your reaction to them decides everything. You can use your voice to curse the challenge or command yourself to conquer it. Both paths require effort. Only one produces growth. If you can discipline your tongue, you can discipline your destiny. Because complaining is not just about words, it's about mindset. It's the refuser. To take ownership. The moment you stop blaming and start building, the game changes. When you stop complaining, you instantly separate yourself from the crowd. You start to stand out, not because life got easier, but because you chose power over pity. People notice the difference. Your energy shifts. You become a problem solver, a creator, a leader. The world follows those who bring solutions, not excuses. Complaining builds walls. Every time you catch yourself about to complain, pause. Ask, "Is this helping me grow?" If the answer is no, stop. Channel that energy into movement, into progress, into action. Replace every complaint with a commitment. Instead of saying, "It's staying and can't," say, "It's too loud to learn." Instead of saying, "It's too hard," say, I'm getting stronger." Your words shape your reality. Build with intention. The greatest freedom in life comes when you take full responsibility. Because once you own everything, nothing owns you. Problems lose their power the moment you stop reacting them emotionally and start responding strategically. Every challenge you face can either trap you behind a wall or lift you to a higher level. The choice is in your focus, your discipline, and your voice. So make this a rule: no complaining, no blaming, no excuses. Speak power, speak purpose. Speak progress, turn every negative word into a plan of action. The day you stop complaining is the day you start conquering, because while others build walls with their words, you'll be building bridges with yours. Winners think in outcomes. They don't waste time drowning in what went wrong. They lock their eyes on what must go right. Their minds are wired for results, not reactions. While the average person is busy explaining, analyzing, or defending failure, the winner is already creating a new plan, already taking the next step, already focused on victory. They don't live in the past, they live in purpose. The difference between a winner and everyone else isn't luck or talent, it's direction. Winners D. Don't think about the obstacle, they think about the outcome. Every thought in your mind is a seed. The average person plants seeds of worry, doubt, and excuses, and then wonders why their garden never grows. But winners plant only one kind of seed: results. They don't ask, what if it doesn't work? They ask, what must I do to make it work? That mindset shifts everything. It replaces fear with focus, hesitation with hunger, and uncertainty with determination. Thinking in outcomes means seeing the finish line before the race begins. It means refusing to get emotionally trapped in the problem and staying fixated on the result. Winners don't deny difficulty. They dominate it by defining it. They say, this is the challenge. Here's what I'm going to do about it. They convert thought into motion and motion into results. Every move they make is guided by a mental image of success. The problem with most people is that they think in reactions. When something breaks, they break down. When anything blocks them, they freeze. They waste mental energy replaying what happened instead of preparing for what's next. But winners know that dwelling on defeat builds more of it, so they condition their minds to see forward. Every setback becomes a setup for a stronger comeback. Every challenge becomes a test of adaptability. They think in terms of next step, not worst case. You can feel the difference when someone thinks in outcomes. Their energy is sharp, decisive, confident. They speak in solutions, not complaints. They don't talk about what can't be done. They talk about how it will be done. Their focus never wavers because their vision is locked on the end result. They understand that energy follows direction. And when your direction is defined by a clear outcome, your energy has purpose. Thinking in outcomes turns frustration into fuel. It transforms uncertainty into clarity. Because when you're focused on where you're going, the noise around you loses power. You stop reacting to every distraction. You stop arguing with limitations. You simply move forward, relentlessly, efficiently, and with intent. The mind, trained to think in outcomes, doesn't panic in chaos. It performs. It finds a way, builds a plan, and acts until results appear. This is the mindset that separates achievers from dreamers. Dreamers hope things will work out. Achievers decide they will and then build the bridge to get there. Winners don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They act with precision even when things are uncertain, because they know one truth: outcomes are born from clarity, not comfort. When you think in outcomes, every action becomes meaningful. You stop chasing random efforts and start aligning everything toward one result. You stop saying yes to distractions and start saying no to everything that doesn't serve your goal. You learn to measure your progress not by how you feel, but by what you finish. That is the discipline of champions. They don't chase motivation. They see Hayes metrics. They measure, adjust, and move forward. Average minds talk about how hard it is. Superior minds talk about how to win anyway. Winners see the same problem everyone else sees, but they approach it differently. Where others see pain, they see data. Where others see risk, they see reward. They treat every challenge as feedback, not failure. Their question isn't, why is this happening? It's, what outcome do I want, and how can I make the situation serve that? That's how they stay unstoppable. They never give energy to defeat. They redirect it. Even in loss, they think in outcomes. If they fail, the outcome becomes learning. If they succeed, the outcome becomes momentum. There is no waste. Every result feeds the next victory. Thinking in outcomes demands responsibility. You can't blame others and still move forward. Winners take ownership of everything, their actions, their thoughts, their results. They don't wait for luck. They build it through focused intention and relentless execution. They understand that success is not something you chase, it's something you construct through disciplined thought. When you train your mind to think like this, you eliminate emotional chaos. You stop letting fear and frustration decide your next move. You start operating from logic, clarity, and control. You know where you're going, and you trust yourself to figure out the path. That confidence doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from focus. Most people want outcomes but think in obstacles. They spend hours describing what's wrong, never realizing that every word strengthens the problem. The winner's secret is simple. They spend no time feeding failure. Their thoughts are tuned like a compass, always pointing toward the goal. They wake up each day asking, "What must I do today that brings me closer to my outcome?" That single question transforms drifting into direction, confusion into clarity, chaos into control. To think in outcomes is to live with purpose. It means your decisions are deliberate, your actions intentional, and your thoughts disciplined. It means refusing to be emotional when you need to be effective. Winners know emotion clouds judgment, and judgment builds results. So they feel deeply, but act strategically. They don't let temporary feelings sabotage permanent goals. If you want to rise above the crowd, shift your thinking from reaction to result. Stop asking, "Ket, why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What result am I creating from this?" That's how you reclaim power. That's how you move from struggle to strength. Every great achiever you've ever admired lives by this invisible law. They focus on outcomes with military precision. They think, speak, and act like the result already belongs to them, and because of that, it eventually does. So from this moment on, think like a winner. Don't feed problems. Don't chase distractions. Don't drown in what's broken. See the outcome. Feel it. Build it. The world belongs to those who see the end before they start and refuse to stop until what they see becomes real. Every problem hides a seed of opportunity. It doesn't matter how dark, how painful, or how impossible the situation may seem. Inside that struggle lies something valuable, something powerful, something designed to grow you if you have the courage to look for it. Most people see a problem and stop. Winners see the same problem and search. They dig beneath the surface until they find the seed that others ignored. That's the difference between defeat and dominance, not what happens to you, but how you see what happens. Every challenge life throws at you comes carrying a message. There's more in you than you're using. Problems aren't punishments, they're invitations. Invitations to evolve, to think deeper, to act bolder. When you meet difficulty with resistance, you suffer. When you meet it with curiosity, you discover. Because within every difficulty is the lesson that makes you sharper, wiser, and stronger than you were before. The truth is, opportunity rarely comes wrapped in comfort. It comes disguised as struggle. The bigger the problem, the bigger the potential it carries within it. But only those with vision will see it. Most people run from problems. The few who rise run toward them. They understand that pressure creates diamonds, that pain produces wisdom, and that challenges are not barriers. They are bridges to greatness. Look back at every major breakthrough in history. Behind every invention, every innovation, every transformation, there was a problem someone refused to complain about. Someone saw what everyone else saw, but thought differently. The problem became the spark. The frustration became fuel. The obstacle became the origin of something extraordinary. That's not luck, that's perception. That's the power of seeing opportunity where others only see difficulty. You must train your mind to think this way, to look at adversity not as an ending but as an opening. When things go wrong, when life tests you, when everything seems to fall apart, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What strength is this situation trying to build? Those questions shift your focus from pain to power. They stop you from drowning in self-pity and push you towards self-mastery. Every problem you face contains within it the exact ingredients you need for growth. Struggle reveals your weaknesses so you can build strength. Failure shows you what needs refining. Rejection redirects you towards something greater. What feels like loss today often turns out to be guidance in disguise. But you'll never see the seed of opportunity if your mind is clouded by blame, fear, or frustration. You must be still enough, strong enough, and focused enough to find it. Problems are not here to break you. They are here to build you. Every time you face one, you are standing in front of a choice, to shrink or to rise. Complain, and you stay the same. Conquer, and you evolve. Life's toughs. Moments are the soil where your potential grows. The problem is not the enemy. Your perception is. Change how you see the storm, and the storm changes what it does to you. When something doesn't go your way, most people panic. Winners pause. They look deeper. They ask, where's the seed? What's the hidden advantage? That mindset turns setbacks into setups. It transforms chaos into clarity. It teaches you to turn frustration into focus. The seed might be small, an idea, a connection, a realization, a skill you never knew you had. But once you find it and nurture it, it grows into something that moves your life forward. No one escapes problems. But those who succeed treat problems as opportunities to separate themselves from the crowd. They don't run, they rise. They understand that every difficulty contains hidden data, information about what works, what doesn't, and what must change. They extract the lesson, adapt, and advance. They don't waste emotion wishing the problem away. They invest energy into finding what the problem came to teach. Think about it. How many times has something gone wrong in your life only for it to lead to something better later? The job you lost that forced you to build your own. The person who left that made room for someone greater. The failure that revealed your true calling. You couldn't see it then because the seed was still buried under pain, but it was there all along, waiting for you to grow enough to recognize it. That's how life works. The seed of opportunity hides in the soil of struggle. It requires patience, vision, and resilience to find it and let it bloom. But once you do, you never see problems the same way again. You stop fearing them. You stop running from them. You start using them. You understand that problems don't block the path. They are the paths. So the next time you face a challenge, don't say, why is this happening to me? Say, what's the opportunity in this? That single shift in thinking changes everything. You move from being a victim of life to being a student of life. And students grow, leaders grow, winners grow. The seed of opportunity will never reveal itself to the person focused on complaining, but it will always reveal itself to the one focused on conquering. Remember this, life hides its gifts in the places you least want to go. Pain opens the door to strength. Struggle teaches resilience. Loss teaches appreciation. Every problem comes carrying a hidden reward for those who refuse to quit, but only those who look beyond the surface, only those who search for meaning, only those who keep moving forward. Find it. Every problem hides a seed of opportunity. You can curse it or you can cultivate it. You can let it bury you or you can let it build you. The seed is there waiting for you to see it. The question is, will you complain about the dirt or will you plant something powerful in it? Emotions obey discipline. Left untrained, they will run wild, control your thoughts, sabotage your future. But when you master them, when you decide that emotion will serve your mission, not rule it, you step into a level of power that few ever reach. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not who feels more, it's who controls what they feel. Everyone experiences fear, anger, doubt, and pain. The winner simply refuses to let those emotions decide the outcome. Emotions are powerful servants, but dangerous masters. They can fuel you or fool you. Most people let their emotions dictate their direction. They quit when they feel tired. They lash out when they feel angry. They freeze when they feel afraid. But those who achieve greatness reverse that order. They lead their emotions instead of being led by them. They act on principle, not impulse. They move by decision, not by mood. You can't build consistency on emotional instability. Success doesn't care how you feel, it rewards what you do. The world doesn't stop because you're sad, tired, or discouraged. The champions of life feel those things too, but they've learned to channel that emotion into fuel. They know discipline is the bridge between emotion and execution. Emotion screams, stop. Discipline whispers, keep going. Emotion says, this hurts. Discipline says, this is growth. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is eternal. Think about a warrior in battle. His heart races, fear surges, adrenaline floods, but he doesn't retreat. He uses that emotion. He channels it into focus, precision, and strength. That's what mastery looks like. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about commanding them. It's about using the fire without letting it burn you. Most people lose because they mistake emotional reactions for truth. They believe every feeling they have is real, but emotion is not truth. It's feedback. It's temporary data about your current state, not your ultimate reality. Discipline teaches you how to interpret it. When fear shows up, it's not a signal to stop, it's a signal that growth is near. When frustration appears, it's not proof of failure, it's proof that you care. Discipline allows you to translate emotion into purpose instead of paralysis. A disciplined mind can feel pain and still move forward. It can feel doubt and still take action. That's power.